What's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Obsession. I'm Karl Bethke.
I am Mike Stadler.
Mike.
Yes, sir.
You know, the weather isn't letting us work today, so I figured we should just do podcasts all day. What do you think?
I suppose.
Have to get it done,
Yeah.
huh? We got a question here from Jesse. You each own land, of course. Both of you have neighbors that deer hunt, but neighbors that shoot anything. How long would you give a deer before you are pressing your luck on taking a buck of an age group you are looking for? Well, that's weird.
So are you talking like seeing a certain deer and not shooting him, not shooting him, and then going after him?
Yeah, I think that's what he means. Like how many, that's, the wording that he put into is a little bit different, but I think that's what he means by how long are we going to let a deer go before we're pressing our luck, thinking that the neighbors shoot anything.
I mean, I can say this right now. If that's a deer that's in our top 10%,
we're going to hunt him.
I'm not letting him go.
No.
The first opportunity he gives me.
Yeah, no, right.
You know, so not to be real short on it, but if that's one that we assess early that we're going to hunt,
yep,
then that means we're going to hunt him at any time we get a chance to it that year. If he comes and gives us the opportunity, we're going to take it.
Correct.
If it's a deer that we're not going to hunt and he's a good deer, we're just not going to hunt him.
Right.
You know, so, and we don't have a lot of land, but
the free pass.
Yeah, he just gets a pass, and we've both have bucks like that. Like, hey, remember, dude, there's this 8, he's got that kicker.
We're not
killing him.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We're just not.
Right.
And if the neighbor kills him,
it is what it is.
It is what it is at that point, really. It's You can't control it.
So this is how I look at it, Jesse. You always have neighbors. Doesn't matter where you are, you always have neighbors. In Wisconsin, Michigan, any of the higher pressured states, most of our properties are too small to hold deer to say we're going to let a buck go for years and years and years, trying to get them to that, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5 years. If you do, you're taking a chance. And if you have neighbors that are into quality deer management or something like that, they do the same thing as you, obviously there's a higher chance that deer will get in there. But a lot of us don't have that, including Mike and myself. We have neighbors that basically hunt tree lines next to our properties, which that's what they have to hunt. Understandable, get it. If the deer runs out in the field, they're going to get shot, especially during gun season. Mm-hmm. So, that being said, that's where Mike and I came up with the percentage rule.
Yeah.
We hunt the top 10% of the deer that are on our property, and buck-wise, and that's how we look at it. Those are the deer we're going to hunt. And we're fortunate enough now that on our properties, we do get some deer to go to the 4.5, 5.5 year old stage. And we could always reiterate on this, on the 10% rule, but that's how we look at it. If the neighbors shoot the deer during gun season because he ran out in the field chasing a doe, which Mike's had happen here, I've had at my neighbors down at my place, there's nothing you can do about it.
I mean, they're deer I would have shot.
Oh, God, yes.
I mean, if I was gun hunting, which I'm not, but if I was, I'd have shot them too.
Oh, yeah.
So it's, I don't know. I mean, I think in general people are getting better about it.
I agree.
Letting, I think, maybe a little younger age class buck or a little bit smaller framed, buck go. I don't know if they're letting it go for the right reasons, but.
Well, yeah.
But, I mean, you can only do what you can do, and that's why we said, we set it up, we had a podcast earlier this year about where we kind of talked about our 10% rule, and that's what applies to this.
Yes.
So if, it's a buck that we're giving a pass, we're giving him a pass, and sometimes it doesn't work out where he gets a pass somewhere else.
Right, and that's a really good statement. I mean, you got to understand, Jesse, that in my view is, I can control me. I can control what happens on my property. Yeah. Mike and I look at it that way, but we can't control anything once it steps over that line.
I mean, I could probably make another statement too. Like, I'm not going to shoot an animal if I'm not, just so the neighbor can't.
Oh, yeah.
If it's not an animal that I'm hunting.
Right.
I mean, if he's not in my list, you know, my air quotations list to hunt,
Yep.
I'm not going to kill him just because I think the neighbor might kill him. I mean, it is what it is at that point. And
Yeah, that makes no sense
yeah,
anyway.
and I hear people say that, well, I'm going to shoot him because
the neighbor would.
neighbor's going to shoot him. Well, that, I don't agree because, for the most part, because if we're here, say we're at my property, and we're like, you and I are both checking on, like, Jesus, oh, we got like, you know, 4 or 5 2.5-year-olds.
Right.
Nah, you know, I mean, they're good deer.
Yeah.
But at your place, we have 4 or 5 3.5, 4.5-year-olds.
Yep.
Well, then we're probably not going to hunt here
Well, right.
unless all of a sudden something shows up, which it usually happens.
Oh, yeah.
But those deer are going to get a pass from us.
Yes.
And that can be vice versa, you know, at that. So, you know, I don't know. It's.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I look at it. Same as Mike's statement there. I mean, it's, when we say 10%, okay, we're not just talking my property. You know, I'm not going to say this is 10% of my property. We're looking at Mike's property and my property, and probably any other little spot we have to hunt, because that's the real 10%. It may be 3, 4 different properties that we could go to.
Yeah.
You know, and trust me, they're not big. You know, if you're hunting public and a deer excites you, my view is you shoot that deer.
Yeah.
Because you might not know any of the guys, or you probably don't know any of the other guys or girls hunting around you, and they may just be out for a deer.
Yeah, and the pressure's immense.
Oh yeah.
Too, you know, and it just builds as the year goes
Yeah.
on. So those deer are going to get forced out.
Yeah. It's hard to
Onward.
pass up opportunities, especially a good deer on public land, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because we hunted public for years. I mean, we pretty much did our whole TV show on public land and a couple leases that we had.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't realize that. And we were shooting deer, you know, 2.5-year-olds that were good deer on public land.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully that answered your question, Jesse. We appreciate the question.
Yes.
Thanks for listening. If you want to listen to the podcast, just the podcasts themselves, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon,
RSS.com.
RSS.com. There's one more.
Check us out on YouTube.
Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the Reaper in the lower right-hand corner. If you guys have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them down here.
Yep.
We appreciate that. Have a good day.
Later.